videos we've been placing on YouTube deal a lot with modern arnis. I haven't been doing a lot with karate, but I also have a black belt in karate, so I want to deal with a couple of things that I think are very important. I watch a lot of videos, and I see a lot of people that are doing wrist locks, and not a lot of explanation is being given with these wrist locks. So I want to just add a little bit of an explanation for those of you who might be trying to practice some of these. I ask you to please find a good instructor to practice with. But if you are just looking at these videos for a little bit of information, these should be able to help you out in understanding wrist locks a little bit better. The two that we're going to look at today is the outside wrist lock and the inside wrist lock. And we're going to just do them from a basic wrist grab. If he reaches out crossed hand and grabs my wrist, of course there's 100 different ways to get out. Of course I could just fan over and get out. He grabs me, I could use my other hand, fan and trap. There's 100 different ways to get out of a wrist hold. Again, just push off and get away. And if you're a basic karate student, you need to be working on those things. You need to understand that the weakest part of his grip is going to be his thumb. So if you're going to try to get out, if he grabs the same side wrist grab, this thumb is the weakest part of his hand. If I try to pull against his fingers, and he's a nice strong guy, he's got me held, but if I pull against that thumb, hold very tight, he just can't hold on. So you need to understand that first principle. The second thing is cross hand grab. With an outside wrist lock, I can reach over, roll my hand like this, and I now have a very strong outside wrist lock. I push down, he will fall straight there. Instead of throwing him over there, where I may have to then go get him, or he may land and get up very angry, I'm going to take him straight down, where he'll be right below me when he hits the ground. So here, somebody might ask this question. It's a good question too. Well, while you're fooling with his hand, he might be punching you in the face. That's right. So I might want to give him something to occupy his time. So when I reach to grab his hand, I'm also going to take my foot and I'm going to catch him either in the inside of the leg or possibly with a roundhouse kick to the stomach to get his attention off of what I'm doing with his hand. So if I reach up, tap his leg, there, take his hand. Now, not only is he off balance, but I've got his hand in this position. And look at the position of the hand. It's very important. I have grabbed the meat of the interior of his thumb. I put my thumb on the back. I'm using my hand that was grabbed for leverage, and I'm going to push straight down. When this happens, as soon as the wrist goes past the shoulder, he will fall. Now, what happens if he grabs a same side grab? Well, getting to an outside wrist lock from this is not impossible. I can turn my hand up, and there's an outside wrist lock there. I'll show you how I did that. I just simply turn my hand up. Again, I wouldn't just do this because he would punch me with his other hand, but I would do a kick at the same time. Release against the thumb, just like I showed you a moment ago. And there I've got this wrist lock. Thumb on the back, finger across the hand, my other hand for leverage, push down, and he's out of it. So, cross hand wrist grab, bang, throw. Same side wrist grab, bang, throw. Both sides take him right where I want him to be, which is on the ground in front of me. Now, an inside wrist lock is a little bit different. An inside wrist lock, you want his hand, instead of going away from his body, you want his hand turned up, going towards his center line. Just like that. You see the position of the hand. If I rotate my hand like that, I have him in that position. If I can get his elbow to bend, I have it even more. So as he grabs me here, instead of reaching under here, I'm going to reach over the top, hooking my fingers in here. What am I going to do about his other hand? I'm going to create chaos. Bang! I'm going to create chaos. Bang! I'm going to create chaos. Bang! Strike. Get something, get the attention away from here. Turning the hand up, you'll notice now I'm aimed at his shoulder. I don't want to be aimed at his shoulder because he's strong there. I want this to be aimed at his chest. So how do I do that? Well, I can drive the car in. Now it's aimed at his chest, and he goes down. And again, all I did was a circular motion. He grabs, I come up here, and I create that bend in the elbow with that. What if he's a really strong guy? Well, I may want to come up here, slide down the wrist, and cut into it. whatever I've got to do, I want this wrist in this position to be pointed at his chest. Because that gives the difference between this, which does hurt and he can feel that, but he can fight that, and this, which is a killer and takes him out. Sometimes schools will call this the bent elbow wrist lock because his elbow should be bent. But a bent elbow wrist lock is a little different because a bent elbow wrist lock, if I did this, I would touch a pressure point here and I would drop him easier because I'm using two pressure points. I'm using the pressure points here and a pressure point higher up on the arm. Those two wrist locks are very important. And again, if you have a partner, you can just practice with having them grab your wrist here. But don't forget about the position to start with. Always start with something to create chaos in his mind. Because if he grabs you by the wrist and you reach down and grab his wrist, both of your hands are occupied. He has a free hand. If you don't do something to create the timing in your mind to get this technique, he's going to clobber you. You're going to lose. So make sure that you do something to get his attention for at least a split second to put him in that hold.